This is a quick at my daily process flow, the process which I follow to find my candidates, and there are five elements to what I do during the day. These are the scans and these are the methods which I trade during the days to find my set of candidate which I'm looking for. I'm primarily interested in two types of candidate. One kind of a candidate is something like a stock which is likely to make 50, 100%, 200% move. They are not something which you'll find every day. They are infrequent. Those are called episodic pivots, or they're earning based kind of stocks, and they show up infrequently. Then I'm looking for swing trades which are like 3 to 5 days. In 3 to 5 days, stocks making 8 to 20% move. My basic method for finding stocks which make big moves is episodic pivot, which is based on earnings news. And for that, I have a couple of scans which I use. If a stock has an earnings news, basically it starts showing up early in the morning. Like here is a software which I use, trade ideas, and I have a scan biggest gainer. So now I know based on these SNDK, CRU, SGM, these stocks have had some earnings news, and based on these earning news, these stocks are up. So I would research those stocks to see if they have something which is game changing, and also will I look at volume. If the volume has to be substantial enough in the pre-market for me to get interested in, and then those are the stocks which I would look at as an earnings play if they have significant earnings. That's one thing which I do. Now there is another thing which is basically the same thing. On the short side, you can like and have a biggest losers, stocks which are down, and you can see like this is showing some stocks now. I also have another scan which I use, which is stocks which are up 3% or more with earnings today. As of now, it is not showing any scans, but like as the market opens, it will start showing the scans. So that allows me to focus only on stocks which are up because of earnings news, and then I'll look at that particular set of stocks. So that's basically what I use for the episodic pivot. Now anticipation candidate, that is my first priority. As I keep posting those anticipation candidate, as you would have seen in my last night's video, I have these stocks which I am monitoring for anticipation breakout, and these are the stocks which I'm looking for a breakout, and these are my first priority because this is under my control. I know which stock I'm most interested in. I'm most interested in SGYP. I'm most interested in G dot. I'm interested in GMO. So these are 3 or 4 stocks which I'm most interested in. I know how much I'm going to buy, how many thousand or 10,000 or 20,000 share I'm going to buy of this stock, and I already have these stocks programmed into my interactive broker interface in case they break out today with an order, so that I can buy them if they and when they break out. So that's my second priority, or the process flow which I follow. The third thing which I use is I use Trade Ideas as a software along with Telechart, and in Trade Ideas I have a scan which has made me a lot of money, and which is called stocks with most upside momentum. This tends to keep going. These are basically stocks which have made 60 highs in a few minutes. So these stocks, they tend to keep going. So as of now, you will not have any candidate. It starts giving candidate once the market opens. As soon as the market opens, you'll find candidate, or even sometimes if there is a stock which breaks out with a lot of power in the pre-market, it can also show up. So this is something which works best in the first half an hour. The candidate, or the first 20 or 10 candidate which show up here, are the one which tend to keep going up. Like example of say something like this will be yesterday Chipotle Mexican Grill, which like showed up on the scan in the first 1 minute or 2 minutes, and then like it kept on going up, making almost like $30 move during the day. Those are the kind of stocks which show up. It doesn't show many candidate, but what it shows are the one which are having the most powerful move. There is a bearish side to the same scan which is flipped, which is the stocks with upside momentum. This keeps going down. That is basically reverse of the scan for the bullish side. So those are the scans which I use during the first half an hour or the first 30 minutes. Now during the day I keep running these scans, which is something called dollar breakout, which is basically a stock which is either up 90 cents or down 90 cents, and which has a volume of about 100,000. So these are the candidate, or these are the stocks from which I'll find my buy candidate. Basically they are always the stocks which tend to make a big move after that kind of a move. So this is something which is like, say, to give you an example of something like this, is like if you run a scan like that yesterday, you'll find all these stocks showing up: IML, LMN, EGRX, now SHW, or IDXS. These are stocks which are making big move yesterday in terms of dollar volume, dollar move. So those are the stocks which like are really the stocks which many times can also continue next day, and then you can like get into them because they show up in the scan immediately as soon as they meet that condition. So that's one of the things which I use. C minus O is greater than 90. That means like in a closing price minus opening price is greater than 90 cents, or the stock is either up 90 cents or down 90 cents. So that's one scan, and I find a lot of my swing trading candidates of 8 to 20% kind of moves from this. And also I use a 4% breakout and a 4% breakdown scan, which looks for a stock which is either up 4% or down 4%, and volume is greater than yesterday's volume, and volume is greater than 100,000, and I focus on stocks about $3. So basically this is more useful for finding small caps, because small caps, when they break out with the force. 4% 5% move on a breakout day, or even 8% move is not a big deal for a small cap. So these are the stocks which show up. Now these are the basically five things, and some of them are like same candidates show up in all the scans. Like if you have a candidate which is showing up in trade ideas with upside momentum, it will also show up in dollar breakout, it will also show up in 4% breakout. So there is some commonality, but these are the only processes which I run, and within that I'll select a trade between that. Like to give you an example of recent trades which I found was UEPS, which was in my anticipation list, and I entered, and now it's already up around 8 to 9%. Then there was like ANTH, which was like here again in anticipation, and then it entered and it went up. Or like say a Biomed, which was see here like, and it made almost 9% move. Then like yesterday I bought from the dollar breakout scan TECH as soon as it hit the scan, and it's already up almost like $1 or 90 cents after my entry. So this is a stock which showed up in the dollar breakout scan yesterday. Then there are like once you run this scan, you get like enough candidate, you'll never go hungry. You'll get more than what you can chew actually in terms of quantity of stocks. But it's the process is same every day. I don't look at social media, or I don't ask other people for picks. I don't ask people for second opinion on my stock. I have a set definition of what I'm looking for in this particular stocks, and if they meet my criteria, I enter, and I exit if they meet my profit target. So this is process orientation, and especially for new traders, struggling traders, if you're not making enough money, then you need to move towards process orientation. Because if you have a process, and if you just have one single process which is a good process, and then if you follow it day in and day out, then you become better and better at it, and over a period of time, once you become very fluent in running those processes, stocks show up, profitable trades show up, and account keeps going up. So if you want to make money in the market, become process oriented. This is my simple process flow which I use daily.